Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, and we are in the heat of summer now, aren't we? Goodness gracious, our June version of Doctor Talk. And as I said, I'm Dr. Jody Bear. Many of you know me. Thank you for tuning in once again. And I can truthfully say that we are now in the 400s of our episodes, and we've been going with this Doctor Talk now for 3.5 years. The wisdom and what we brought here just eclipses what I really believe, the saying that you can say you can go fast by yourself. You can go far with a team, but when you go fast and far, when you have the right team, you'll get further. And this is what Doctor Talk means to me. For my 48 years of being a practitioner, I was behind the brick and mortar. Now we're click and order. We're out here doing what we do so well. So today I'm saying, yes, I've got a sundress on. And yes, I just felt like the saying and the song from Oliver saying, food, glorious food. It was just the food that is with us so much, isn't it? In the summer, we're with friends, we're with family. Talked about sunscreen last month. So we're going to talk about summer food. How can you really feel your best, enjoy your family time? And what does that mean? We do it in all 6 pillars of our health. We do it spiritually. That is just the spirit of being with family, the spirit of recreation. As I was work and recreation in the last 3 days, it just feels great. The sun is shining. You're getting your vitamin D out there. But always remember to come back to the mental mindset. And Renee Brown will certainly be getting into that, as she always does, CEO and co-founder of Next Level Recovery Housing and Medical Mindshare. Dr. Glen Depke, if he can get away from his golf balls and get off in an airplane, he's always vacationing. He just got back from Chicago, is finding that time to emotionally, that's the third pillar, soothe your soul. And then physically, if you're not going ahead and doing a quantitative breath work like Dr. Mike Van Thielen, or going ahead and just being a world record holder and going out in, and that physical pillar, or Dr. Bill, as he always said, taking care of that meat suit. This is our team. And this is why you will go further. As I always say, with weight loss and what we know and we love about what we do in health and holistic health, real health. As I had over 1 million pounds total fat lost in my 4 decades as a practitioner, and with 35,000 client patients. What I said, if you want to go fast, go it alone. But actually, it's not sustainable. Weight loss, we need others. That's why summer's the time for that social pillars. We get together. And the recidivism rate happened because of the things I'm going to share about Chinese and traditional Chinese medicine that's brought to modern, what you can do, modern holistic healing. But before we get in everything, I think it's very appropriate to have our first commercial break with Renee Brown, CEO of Next Level Recovery Housing and Medical Mindshare. So let's take a look, take a feel, take a listen to one of our sponsors.
From the well-known brands of Next Level Recovery and Sober Living Properties, Michael and Renee Brown present Medical Mindshare. Medical Mindshare has been designed to deliver integrative care and precision medicine throughout the community. Discover a more personalized path to wellness. Some people might ask, why is integrative care up and coming medically? Our answer is that integrative care can be tailored to your specific needs and goals. Integrative care considers mindfulness as a modality and many other alternative therapies amongst traditional medicine. Another feature of Medical Mindshare is enhanced recovery and rapid healing. It's always at the forefront of our mind so that you can experience accelerated healing and a reduction of symptoms. Contact us today to schedule a consultation.
Truly doing something in the social pillar for holistic healing with the underserved. And so I'm just going to bring the team up just in the order and they're in my backstage. Welcome, Renee Brown. I did a Renee today with the hair, by the way. And Dr. Glen, it still looks like you're on the golf course. Is that the teen green? Dr. Glen Depke from California is beautiful, wherever he is. And of course, Dr. Mike, over there, my friend, I bypassed you, Norman Beach, as I was going up the 95. Truly, an innovator in his own mind with, as it says, in our own time. MVT online because it was easier than spelling Van Thielen. Very smart branding. And Mr. Meets, Dr. Bill himself. Welcome. And I can say, let's just get in. You know what Hippocrates said? Hippocrates said, food be thy medicine. Well, let's just have it be thy medicine with Renee. What do you have to say about our beautiful topic, summer food? And then we'll just go round robin, Glenn, Mike, Bill, and I'll wrap it up with a real foodie recipe. Renee, take it away. Oh, that rhymes. I like that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your introduction and just for this topic. I have to just say, summertime is my most favorite time all year long. And even though I was raised in Southern California, I don't even know if I still got enough sun there. But I'll tell you what, I'm very careful that I maximize this season in Utah, and I absolutely just get the most of it, like all of you. So this is an interesting season because we just have so many benefits that come right along with it when it comes to mental health, where the sunshine is just going to give us an abundance of vitamin D, which just ignites serotonin, and we're just going to feel a bit happier and definitely more of a sense of well-being. So in context to mental health, summertime is absolutely an interesting time all year round. It's a unique time in that it's when we come together socially. We have increased social events, increased social demands as well. And when we come in contact with each other and we come together during different occasions, it absolutely increases our health, not only mentally, but physically as well. It's a whole body experience. So I thought I would talk about maybe some of the demands that are on us with these social gatherings and these functions. And, you know, the first thing I have to say is I love keeping everything easy. And I think that this comes from, I remember in school, it was, you have finals, you have all of these demands where it was then that I made this conscious decision. I need to keep things easy. And I think it's been a large benefit. I had a pretty sizable summer wedding, and it was in a beautiful backyard on a cliffside. And I remember how simple we kept the event and how memorable it was for the connection and the occasion of absolutely what it was. So on social gatherings, one thing I always like to suggest here at Next Level to anybody that's putting together anything, and we have a lot of events, is ask for help. You know, that's part of the fun. Put something together with somebody else. Everything's always better together. So that's one suggestion that I would make. And, you know, things like vacation come up, and our family just returned from Disneyland. We celebrated my daughter's high school graduation, and it was a blast. I saw everybody in Disneyland with the t-shirts, you know, graduate 2025, lots of fun. But I'll tell you what I did. I made sure that my husband and I had a little bit of time away to just walk and just enjoy and just explore the park, keep our centeredness. The kids were old enough to just do their own thing. And when we used to go to Disneyland when they were younger, one thing I focused on is, you know, not really spending too much time, enough time, but not too much time. Fit in some beach, fit in some other fun activities that the kids will enjoy. Because I think that that really helps, you know, where we come together as a family and we have memorable events. And the memory is more important than sometimes the novelty of squeezing more in than not. So one other thing that I just love is I have an office that has plenty of windows, and I'm able to take advantage of that indirect sunlight that just is a big mood lift. It's a big boost. If I'm not near my own office and I'm out of town, I'm working someplace else, I find a way where I can be near plenty of windows. I have a backpack so I can take a break and go somewhere and do some walking. Here at the office, I know where I need to go to find some thick grass, you know, to just kind of earth underneath my feet, and that activity provides additional boost in sleep quality, in reduced stress, and just a feel good sense. And you guys might even have like a sense of your childhood, you know, relived in just such a good way. So some of those activities are what I make sure I get enough of this season. And I'm always very conscious to get enough water. There is such a thing as heat-related stress. So that's something to be aware of. And water and enough movement and downtime, because I want to make sure that I'm touching on a variety of contexts, is very, very helpful. So if you need to just go indoors and you've had enough direct sunlight, which 10 to 30 minutes is what's recommended, feel good to just take that time, take care of yourself. And this is just a season of so much pleasure. I'm really excited to hear what the doctors have to say about the food and nutrition. And I'm just going to leave with a note of just make sure to get enough movement in. That is just so good to relieve stress, micro trauma, emotions that just need to be released. And it's also going to help with aiding and digesting the summer food that the doctors are going to talk about today.
Oh, but you are the doctor of mental acuity. I tell you, especially of cute and acuity. I want to see that cute tan, Dr. Glen, that you came home from Cabo, just always golfing. He knows about the wreck, but I know that he said, oh, summer food is easy peasy. I mean, truthfully, a traditional ND and just a part of our family. Dr. Glen, I'm looking so forward to what you have to say today. Take it away. It's going to be amazing because it always is.
first off, I think for a lot of people, when you talk about summer food, people talk about eating for the season. You know, it is a great time to eat more fruit, eat more vegetables. And, you know, part of it is because, you know, for a lot of us, it's so like right now, it's so stinking hot in most parts of the US. Like we're blessed here in Southern California. We were hanging around like 80 degrees yesterday, nice cool breeze, but a lot of the planet or a lot of our country is quite hot right now. So one of the big things that you get an advantage of when you're eating, especially raw vegetables and raw fruit, is you're getting extra hydration, which is very important. You know, yet I'm not the one who just says, oh, we'll eat all these vegetables and fruits because it's summertime, because there's always individuality in how I work with nutrition with my clients. There's individuality to our needs. And when you take extremes, if you take somebody who their genetic heritage goes back to, let's say, Venezuela, you know, which is just a couple degrees north of the equator, who year round they would have had regular, you know, advantages of fresh fruit, fresh vegetation, you know, warm water fish, so it'd be low in fat and low purines. And even if they had cattle, as an example, they would be very lean because of the environment. Yeah, so that's one extreme. And then the other extreme is somebody who their genetic heritage is of a traditional Eskimo, who never had a piece of fruit, of almost no vegetation, maybe some sea vegetation, and ate a diet mostly comprised of literally fat and protein. Yeah, so I think that even though, yes, it is a good idea to eat seasonally, you still have to recognize your own individuality. And you have to really take into account that, you know, the summer is not the time to just throw sheet to the wind, so to say, and just do whatever you want. And a perfect example is, you know, as you mentioned, Jody, I was just in Cabo, and I typically eat quite well, and there's foods that I avoid because I know they're not good for me. And in all sincerity, to be completely candid, sometimes when I go on a trip, I kind of let that go a little bit. But here's an example. So I go to Cabo. Interestingly enough, night number one, I get food poisoning, you know, which I let all that go very quickly and easily the next morning. And then the next day, the next 2 days when I was out, you know, I ate something I don't normally eat, you know, because I'm not usually, I don't react well to eating, you know, corn chips, as an example. You know, so we're at some restaurants, they have great guacamole and these amazing chips. And I just ate some things that I felt like that I don't normally eat. But here's a kicker. I was in Cabo from Thursday about noon until Sunday about noon. So it's literally 3 days, and I gained 7 pounds. You know, because I was just throwing the sheet to the wind, right? And you don't gain 7 pounds of fat in 3 days, but what I did is I probably gained 6 pounds of inflammation and 1 pound of fat, because I just went off of what I know works for me. So that's what I want everybody to understand, that yes, do some things that you enjoy, have a good focus on some fruit and vegetables, but still maintain what you know works for you. You know, now thankfully, I'm smart enough to know that I gained this inflammation because of eating corn chips a few times, and not that the alcohol with those helped either. But then when I got home, I very simply I did a 72-hour water fast, and I gained 7 pounds. And when I got home, I went from 213 to 202.6. So I'm doing the right things to get back on track. But here's the kicker. Like, most people don't do that. Most people eat the bad food, they gain the inflammation, and then they just keep doing that through the summer because, oh, it's party time, right? So it's just, you know, have a little bit of fun, and don't get too far off of what you know works for you. And then when you do, take the steps to get back on the horse, to get, you know, because you don't want to just have fun over the summer and then, you know, kind of, you know, blow away your health on these perspectives. And when you think of like eating food that drive inflammation, which is really happening for all of us on some level. You know, if you wonder like what that causes, I mean, all you have to do is go to your favorite browser and type in what does chronic inflammation cause, and you'll see every chronic disease state known to man. So it's you know, to me, have fun, eat a little bit seasonally, but still honor what you know works for you. And if you don't know what works for you, figure that out. Like with my clients, I do something called nutritional ID, and there's even a free assessment for that on my website, to understand what is individually right for you, for your personal makeup. And sometimes it's a game changer for people. So I will leave it at that.
And Glenn, that because you just because well, you can just all you have to do is Google golf balls. Southern California, you're fine, but it's Dr. Glen Depke. It's Glen Depke Wellness. It's your website if they want that assessment. Isn't that where it is?
Yes, yeah, DepkeWellness.com. Yes.
Yes, and there's so much there that you could be there till the fall, because that is just a real thing. And I love what you said, and that fasting is a good thing. And there you go. So here's Glen's website. So you've got that as we move along. And we're going to move along right now to something, speaking of vacation, near and dear to my heart, as we are getting ready in September to be to and in Greece with Dr. Jim Marinakis. And take a look. We have just a few spots in a very intimate setting together. Just recreate you in Crete.
Healthopedia 2, the magic of a Mediterranean autumn, September 29th through October 5th, 2025. A Healthopedia experience and life transformation in 6 pillars of health: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial, and social, one pillar at a time. A renewal retreat, cradled in wisdom of the ancients, energetically emerging within the azure Mediterranean seas. This life-changing experience nestled in romantic Grecian Isle of Crete. Dip your feet into the blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea. Retreat, restore, revive, recreate. Feel the waters of life return to you. Restore your living soul. This is the chance of a lifetime. What you experience as you return home, how your energy and vitality of the inner you benefits. That will reward you for all the days of your life. Lose yourself in the history of Greece. Come find yourself at Knossos, the cradle of Western civilization. Because this is where your new story begins.
And the recreating during a vacation is time. It's very fitting that we would go to Greece to go to our true European now, who's been in America a whole long time. But we always know Dr. Mike's accent, but it's a beautiful one. And we're just we've got a few spots for significant doctors still available. Hope one is yours, Mike. Seriously, with your schedule. So give us what you've got on food. Being from an athletic standpoint, you know a lot about that kind of performance.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Jody. I'm starting to feel for Bill because he's usually last, and by the time it's your turn, everybody already said what you wanted to say. So sorry,
Makes
Bill.
it easier for me.
Yes. So I was going to start talking about fruits too, but Glenn did a great job. It's not for everybody, but generally speaking, I think summertime is a good place to start eating more fruits, not just to hydrate, but also, of course, get the vitamins, the minerals, etc. But 2 things when it comes to that Glenn didn't mention yet. So I have something to say. If you eat fruits, make sure you eat them by yourself. Don't eat them as a dessert. Don't eat them after a meal. Because if you eat them with a meal or after a meal, they won't be digested for a long time. And instead of getting nutrients, you will get a lot of toxins because these fruits will ferment during the digestive process. So try to eat them by yourself in between meals, right? Or as a meal. And then also make sure they're organic, especially the ones without a thick peel. So I believe that bananas, oranges, those with a thick peel, you don't have to buy organic and save yourself some money. But when it comes to strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, or things that have a very thin peel, like even a kiwi, try to go the organic route, because otherwise you will have a lot of toxins absorbed again versus the nutrients. And so those are some extra tips when it comes to the fruits. And then it becomes hydration. Yes, you can do that to raw vegetables and fruits, but also we need to drink a little bit more water when we are exposed to warmer weather. And I wanted to say there maybe that it's not just about drinking water, because we always focus on how much water do you drink. With my clients, I also figure out what else are they drinking. Are they drinking coffee? How much coffee? Are they drinking soda? Are they drinking Red Bulls and Monsters? What else are they drinking? Because yes, you can hydrate, but the other drinks dehydrate you. So you're barely neutralizing or becoming a deficit if you drink more sodas and coffees than you drink water. So when people say, how much water do I drink? Yes, it's important, but at the same time, what else do I drink or eat that dehydrates me? So we want to kind of be cautious about drinking water, yes, but also maybe minimizing those warm drinks like coffee and energy drinks that dehydrate us. We were talking with Renee also a little bit about social events and vacations. Usually when we go on vacations and we go to restaurants and we go to social events, we usually eat too much or more than we usually eat, and also not as healthy, right? So one tip, yes, you can enjoy the food. And like Glenn said, as long as you know what to do afterwards to get back on track, that's a great thing. Another little tip that I usually use is I drink a lot of water before I go to the event, or before go, to a restaurant. That way I eat a lot less because I'm already full. Because many times it's not because of hunger that we eat, it's because of appetite, right? And so focus on your social engagement, focus on being present in the moment and sharing moments with the people there, instead of focusing on the food that is served. And if you drink a lot of water before, then you won't be as hungry, you won't eat as much, you won't eat as much bad food, and you can focus more on the social engagement. So that's another little tip. Jody and I, we juice all year round, but I think the summer is also a good way to start taking up the habit of juicing. Again, if that's something that aligns with your body, it's a way to get a lot of fruits and vegetables in your body. And for me, it's also a meal replacement, right? Because how many nutrients can I get in my body with a solid meal? With a liquid meal, I can get a lot more vital nutrients in my body. And so I'm a firm believer, and there may be different opinions on this, but I'm a firm believer that one meal per day is what we biologically are designed for. That's what Jesus and Moses did. That's what the Romans and the Greeks did. Talking about Greece, that's what the Greeks did. Every animal in the wild eats only once a day, and our digestive system is only designed to basically digest one meal a day. So I would skip breakfast. It's the least important meal of the day. If we wake up in the morning and we eat, we immediately become sluggish and our digestive system takes our energy away. There's no need to do that. Eat a piece of fruit, juice during the day, and then have a nice healthy meal at night. That's the way I work year round, but I think the summer is a good way to start skipping breakfast and juicing and hydrating more and eating a little bit less of those solid meals. And then lastly, we talk about food. Maybe there's also some food for thought. The summer is a good time to spend more time outdoors, obviously. Grounding, take those shoes off, take those clothes off, not necessarily everything, guys, but take those clothes off in a legal way. Expose your body to the sunlight. Ground more, walking on a beach, walking in your yard, walking barefoot in the park, laying in the grass. This is the time to kind of reconnect with Mother Earth. And obviously, I would say as a last thing, start some breath work. I'm really immersed in breath work these days. And so start using breath work as a way to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic, from a stressful situation into a rest and digest situation. Your breath is a quick tool that can do that. Your breath is also a way to easily get into the present moment, because most of us are always thinking in the past or projecting in the future. So use that breath to really connect with Mother Nature during the summer, on vacation, in the beach, with people. Kind of pay attention to the what is now and enjoy life. So that's what I got, guys.
Well, and what you had is always awesome. And I can say that the creation of Dr. Mike and I, as I called it, the Green Miracle Drink. You can go to my website, drjody.com, go under the blogs. It's there. if I only would have done something more capitalistic, Mike, and a little less of service, and created $1, even if it was from charity, that's probably millions of downloads that I've had from that. And that was just a collaboration, whether you can go farther with the right people. And so thank you for the tip with juicing, but I can hardly wait to hear from the meat suit. My goodness gracious, it's gonna be great, because it always is. Bill, what do you have about your Wonder Meal and the Wonder Food, Wonder Bill?
Nothing. Mike was right. I get to go last. I just have to repeat what everybody said. I think everybody's right on, and I agree with everyone, even Glenn this time. One of the things with summer food is we can go two way. Right now, I'm in the middle of my final weight loss journey. It's a course that I do twice a year, and I'm teaching them right now is to make those decisions, because I've always said one of the healthiest meals that you're going to get is going to be pizza and chicken wings and beer, chips and dip, if you're healthy. Because if you're having that crap food, it's usually at a celebration. There's that social connection. And just like everybody had said, you can do those things every once in a while. If Glenn's going to Cabo, hanging out like that, and he has some chips that he wouldn't normally have, and go out, and there's some consequences. But if he's engaged in his body and he goes, okay, well, I had this is a little off the rails, and gets right back on, it's one of the healthiest things that you can do because of that social connection. You don't do that all the time. And then when people go in, especially summer, being outdoors it's a time for being social and being active. And I'm teaching the people in my class right now is you're deciding who you are before, what's your identity all the time, but especially during summer, you can be that party animal and go off the rails and have the consequences from that. Or you can choose the foods that are going to support you in general. If you're going to be outdoors, surfing, swimming with Mike, hanging out, going out and doing the things that you're supposed to do or that you want to do, but make sure you're thinking. It's about being conscious about the foods that you're eating. One of the things that happens during the summer in my practice is we get a lot of 3-day weekends. We get Memorial Day and Labor Day, and 4th of July is coming up. And I have for 30 years, I've been seeing this pattern. So I have a card and an email that goes out that says, before this weekend, I will see a lot of you on Tuesday, which usually is the first day back to the week, because people go out and they're having fun. And when they go out here in California, they're either at the beach or the river, they're going somewhere, and there's a social activity, and there's usually play. They may be surfing or swimming or boating, whatever, but there's some activity. They start eating some non-nutrient but fun foods, maybe some adult beverages. And in that 72 hours, just like Glenn's experience, that inflammation starts to build up. Well, I'm a chiropractor, so you can imagine that in my chiropractic practice, there's a lot of people with back and spine issues. So they're feeling good. They're thinking they've dodged the bullet. Everything's good. They wake up on Tuesday morning, they cough, or they turn around to pet the cat or kick the chihuahua or whatever they're doing, and their back goes out. I get a phone call. I got to come in right away. And it's because of the inflammation. So you can do anything you want with your diet, but just know that there's consequences. And I'm not a big believer in, going into a full-blown depression. I got to refer them to Renee, because people got off their diet, knowing that there's just consequences to what you're sticking in your pie hole. And when you do that, you can have poor consequences or you can have good consequences. You take the habits like Mike was talking about, going out, one meal a day. That's pretty good. We don't. And Mike, you know what I love is I've never heard, I'm going to steal it from you, is it's your appetite. And I'm like, you're right. You're going out for what you want in the moment. And it's not necessarily you're giving nutrients to your body. And you're going to ask yourself, do I really want this? And I know for me that when I'm up at my best, I don't eat a lot. I find I eat more on my work days when I have a schedule. I'm like, oh God, it's noon. I should eat something now. I keep my lunch far away, because then if I think about food, then I should probably have it. But usually food's a distraction. And in the summer, this is a perfect time to lose weight, not only because everybody wants to, because it's bikini season, but there's so much stuff that you can go on. There's vacations, there's parties, the sun's out, there's activities that we can do to go out and kind of break a new routine. It's a perfect time to go out and change some habits that you have, some lifestyle choices that you make. And this is a great time just to recreate yourself. So as far as the foods to eat, I stole Glen's stuff a long time ago. I don't even remember when me and Glen first met. It just eons ago. But he was talking about Venezuela, and he's talking about the Eskimos. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I never thought about that. But where we're at and what we're supposed to be eating in seasonal foods, there's a reason that God put foods in different seasons for us. And nowadays, we don't have to hunt and forage for anything. You just click a button on your cell phone and it delivers to your door. So I get very mindful about what and when we eat. And I do a lot of stuff for my environment around the summer. I'll get herbs and vegetables, and I'll make a quinoa salad and clean the place up and everything. The whole house starts to smell fresh. It's like I'm grounding in my house by the foods that I eat, and it just waking up and smelling that stuff and things that are fresh and everything. It just makes me feel better. And once I get this thing going, the meat suit just kind of follows with its benefits from what I'm putting in my pie hole. So that's all I got. Everybody covered everything. I really appreciate Renee, Glen, Mike, especially, not Glen so much, but whatever.
And when you're professional and personal besties, you can really, really banter like that for sure. And it is what you put in your mouth. And it is, I will just say what Mike said about you watch the Red Bull. That's a definite no, but watch the coffee, except for it was a really great time. We haven't had one of our great sponsors. I don't have them up that often because I had something to do to formulate this all alkaline coffee. But if you like coffee, drink this coffee, as I'm going to say, because your body is acidic in the summer. And this is the only 6 mushroom blend out here. Let's get our vibe with some coffee with Vibra. And guess what? It really tastes good, and it doesn't leave you with the coffie breath. Being a girl, that was the one that I made sure that, because I like my teeth to stay white and I like my breath to smell fresh. So that's what I put in as the formulator. But I can say, y'all ever want to know why I always back clean up? For the same reason. I just get to fill in whatever you guys didn't say. And this is what I'm going to say on traditional Chinese medicine. Oh, this decided to do that. Oh, and you still look good that way too, Bill. Thank you. But what I can say is this, that's my background, Oriental medicine, traditional Chinese. They knew it for 6,000 years. And they also know how to stay trim, lean, and mean. And so you hear a lot about, everybody knows about heart healthy diet. It is fruits, it is vegetables. We talk about that. But yin and yang with Chinese medicine, it's your small intestine. So I'm going to bring the small intestine in to summer foods. It's real easy. First of all, avoid obviously the fryer and fried foods, but just use an air fryer because it tastes almost just as good. Is that a phrase? Almost just as good. Okay, we can quantify that, but it really does. The other thing that I love is to go ahead and think about with the small intestine. I have something, it's called a lemonade with barley. How many of you like tapioca? Okay, absolutely love it. Soak the barley in water, then make lemon. If you go to my website, lemon, we put 1 lemon, a teaspoon of honey, and also after that, we put in a little bit of coconut water with the barley. It's like lemonade tapioca. So I'm going to, and I don't know, because I wasn't hydrated, I'm going to turn this over for our little round robin, because guess what? The health coach is feeling a little faint. So I'm going to turn it over to the panel. Let's turn it over to you guys.
What now? You want the hydration? I have people eat more salt and just add some lemon water, and I throw a little mint or something in that, and I tell people that's their fancy drink for today. And after a while, they start to learn it. But most of all, is like Mike and Glenn were talking about, is this is a perfect time for watermelon, cantaloupe, all the hydration foods that we can have. And that's about it for me.
Yeah, and I'll jump in on kind of piggyback on what Bill just said. Like I have a fantastic water filtration system in my home, and I store my water in glass containers. I have a half-gallon glass jug, and every half-gallon glass jug that I drink, I put a heaping teaspoon of Redmond's real salt, which is honestly the only salt that I recommend. And it's that level of having minerals in your water is not only aids in your mineral uptake, which is often much more common at mineral deficiencies and vitamin deficiencies. Yeah, but really having the minerals in your water helps with your molecules to connect with the water, helps with hydration. And I think that's just a big thing that we could do all year round. But obviously in the summer months, we need to be even more conscious of it because of the heat that we're living in and perspiration and such. So that's my 2 cents.
All right. Well, I'll keep going here. Hydration wise, yeah, I think another point to make is try to avoid to dehydrate, right? Otherwise, you're hydrating just to neutralize yourself, to avoid anything that dehydrates you during the summer. The summer is indeed a good time of the year where we can change some habits, as some people said. What I urge people to do is, instead of doing, try to become an observer of your actions and your thoughts and your emotions, because we know that most people, based on how they feel, they eat more or they eat bad, right? If you're in a bad mood, negative thoughts, negative emotions, we're gonna usually don't care about what we eat, and we're gonna grab for food as comfort. So, maybe this summer become an observer of your thoughts, your emotions, and then also your habits. And that's how you're gonna start changing things, is by thinking and basically observing and reframing those emotions, feelings, and thoughts.
Who knows?
You got anything, Renee?
Yeah, Renee, Glenn, you never know. Like I went ahead and hauled it back from South Florida, and I was feeling a little faint, even though I knew that I was hydrating. Never know. It even catches up with health coach. Thanks for having my back. Renee, finish it up, please. I think you're on mute, honey.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just going to say, so much of our behavior is taking place on a subconscious level. So in the summertime, something that definitely helps me, because it's a transitional season, here in Utah, where we have snow up against summer. I mean, literally. I will put alarms on my phone. I'll just put some reminders here and there to really help me get enough hydration, because that's always a struggle. as well as proper food. So that's something that I do so that it will help me be conscious. And that's about all I have to add. I love what was contributed with glass containers of water. We've invested in good water so that that just gives back all year round.
We'll say, welcome to our Doctor Talk. This was a great round. I know that on the 6th, I will be back here after the 4th of July with Behacula, who is Women for Women in South Africa. Renee and I will be in Little Rock at the Clinton Library doing a live Doctor Talk at the 10th. And then Dr. Mike, check it out, MVT online. And it will be his breath work and everything else. So I'm going to say how I started. You can go fast by yourself, far with others. But when you have the right team, it's amazing. Thank you for making this great Doctor Talk one that will be an event to remember. And as we say, make each and every day a Healthopedia kind of day. Let's do our wave as we go out and say, have a great summer and ciao for now.
Woman up.